You're now listening to the Zod and Drea podcast.
Hey people, what's going on?
How's it going?
Yes, it is now Tuesday, April, what is it, guys, April 18th already.
Can you believe it?
Man, time is flying in 2017, I'm telling you people. But we got a new podcast for you, of course.
Always new, always fresh, always new topics, ideas, discussions.
You know it, and always some sort of a new entertainment, I guess, angle. And this time is going to be a movie that just came out and is obviously breaking some records. You know?
How exciting is that?
Like, that's got to be so good for them, for the old crews back together, for the Fast and Furious. So these guys are back together, and they're kicking a lot of ass, and, Vin Diesel, The Rock, some other people coming in there, and, we wrote a nice little review up on the Zod and Drea podcast, so you're going to be able to read about what, at least what I think about it. But I'd say definitely go see it. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later.
You did a good job with that.
Thank you. And it took me not too long because I wrote it right after I saw it. Somebody please encourage Drea to write a review for One Day at a Time. Somebody.
It'll happen. It just takes me a little bit
eventually.
But I love that show.
Man. Anyway, we're going to talk about that. But let's also talk about the off topic, which is basically what you're hearing about in the news and on Facebook and everything else, which was the killing that Stevie Steve has done to a random citizen just because he lost some love. So we're going to talk about people killing over losing love.
Right. And it's just nuts. I still can't believe they haven't found him yet.
I know. Like, please. Anyway, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And of course, our main topic of discussion is what?
How can friendship dynamics change due to new relationships?
Man.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is what's up. We're going to talk about that. I'm sure that some of you have probably gotten into relationships, and all of a sudden, maybe you've been with your best friend forever, but you start seeing a little bit less of them, and then, dynamics change, and maybe it's a conversation you want to have with them, maybe not, but, it's just not the same, and sometimes people resent you for it. Kind of crazy. Some people get angry about that, and they're not really happy about your new love in your life. So, let's talk about that. That's going to be our main topic of discussion, and, we'd like to have you guys jump in on that, too.
Right, because you thought this was something that ended in high school.
Yeah. So, yeah, but let's talk about some fun stuff.
Please.
Okay, so The Fate of the Furious, which is the, I believe the 8th movie in the Fast and Furious series, has come out, directed by F. Gary Gray, and, once again, you start off in a nice tropical area, they like to do that in some of the more recent ones, and they start off in Cuba. Toretto's out in the scene with, his girl, Letty, and, the
Michelle Rodriguez rocks like always.
Of course, man.
Girl crush.
Like, how can you not have a girl crush?
Oh, my God.
She's just so hot.
At the same time, I just think she's so hot, but yet I'm terrified of her.
Yeah, there's something about it. Like, she'll kick my ass, but I want her to, for some reason. I'm like,
it's so weird.
I won't get mad if she does.
No.
Anyway.
Run me over with the car. It's okay.
So we love Letty. Vin Diesel's back. And, they're chilling in Miami. They're just having a good old time doing what Fast and Furious people... Cuba!
There we go.
Of course, they have to do their early race, and, the stakes are high, but, respect is what is earned during that race. And, here's what I want to know. Why does Toretto always have... No matter what place he's in, he's got this hot car? Like, it doesn't matter where it is. You
always notice, though, the race scenes are always, it's a typical shots. Now, mind you guys, I just started getting all updated and into the Fast and Furious series. So Zod introduced it to me. And at first, I didn't want to see it for years because I thought it was nothing but just girls and cars, big deal, right? But what I really found so interesting was that the diversity, that it is the most diverse cast ever, from every background, and it was so great. And I loved the basic core of the stories, no matter what. Family is important, right?
That's basically the core, it's the basic core of
but
it.
I noticed this, every show, it always starts with an ass shot of a girl.
It has to. The one on this one was nice though. Like
ass shot of multiple girls.
The Cuban girl was nice.
And well, yeah,
I gotta give it. I mean, she like it was just literally sticking out of her little tiny
and you know,
skirt.
I'm like, okay, you gotta give it to the guys. It's the typical thing. And then of course the shot of the cars, and it happens to be people working on the cars. But go ahead, you're talking.
But I gotta give it to him on this one. Like even though like the girl, I mean, she was fucking bad. It was this girl, this Cuban girl. But usually I got to give it to him since, I almost want to say part 2 or so. Yeah, maybe part 2. You know, they've been doing that where it's the girl and the race girl, and that's kind of what she does. She drops the thing and they start the race. But on this one, even though it was a gratuitous shot, it was almost the only one. Normally, if you really think about that, like if you look at the earlier ones, it was nothing but ladies with titties and asses and guys with greasy muscles and like, I mean, it was like
tank tops everywhere.
Tank tops, everywhere. But this one, they tried to add more of a story. It's like they had to throw in a little bit of the old, but it's like, okay, to pull in some of the new. And all the people are in there. They got Deckard in there. Hobbs is back. And it's a big menagerie of all these characters. I mean, they bring everybody back, but of course Dom is put into a situation where he has to turn on his own family. But there's only one reason why Dom would turn on his family, and Charlize Theron's character Cypher is the reason why, but it's why she's doing it, and it goes back to even some of the more previous episodes.
And it seems to do that in all the stories. Like there's always an overlap of like the previous movie. This is why this, like a cause and effect, total cause and effect.
It's a soap opera.
Oh my God, it's the best telenovela ever. And Charlize Theron is crazy.
Oh, she's crazy.
Cray.
Yeah, she's crazy.
With her white woman dreads.
Like white woman dreads, and just she's psycho. Like she's a psycho in this. But I mean, without even giving a spoiler, I mean, everybody's in this. We got Kurt Russell. He's back as Mr. Nobody, but come on. Helen Mirren shows up. I'm not going to tell you why or how, but Helen Mirren shows the hell up.
So what do you think about the new token white guy?
The new token white guy. So we see that there's probably going to be a trend where there's going to be a Paul Walker replacement. I'm not mad at it, because Paul Walker was at that moment at some point in the early ones.
Yeah,
so, give it time to grow. And considering they just had a record weekend opening beating Star Wars. I mean, it's
$500 million.
Yeah, but it's like it was
worldwide.
like 536 million, something crazy. Opening, like this is the series to beat. So there's going to be a 9, 10, and 11. So bring it on. It's not as good as the last one to me, but it was fun. Read the review. And
the largest, directorial debut, box office record for a black director.
And so, right now, the black man is the man to beat. So, good luck.
Go see it.
But go ahead and make sure you see it and read our review on it on the Zod and Drea site. But moving on to something a little crazier and sadder. We got this guy from Facebook, Steve Stevens, who's on the run now in Cleveland.
Now, this started like after Easter, like Easter Sunday, right?
Yeah, this is Easter.
Now, the most holiest day for anybody that's a Christian, that Easter is the celebration of Jesus rising, right? So you have all these traditions in many different forms of Catholicism, I guess you want to say,
or
so. Christianity.
Well, I guess Christianity, yeah.
Of celebrating. So people usually spend time with family, go to church. I know we got to spend time with my family. Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Diaz family. Mama Diaz, thank you for dinner. It was wonderful. It was good. And, it's usually a time that's focused on family and getting together. And
even though she was crying to that movie.
That was so
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So great.
Shout out to Mama Diaz.
We're going to have her as a guest. This is going to be great. But then towards the middle of the day, we start getting these reports about this asshole of a killer.
Yeah, this guy all right, so what we're going to talk about right now is just killing over losing love. And the main topic is this guy, Steve Stevens. So apparently, I mean, I saw the video. So what it is this guy talking about, I'm going to find me somebody to kill because he's pissed off. Mm-hmm. He gets out of his car and he's shooting this on Facebook Live. And he just walks up to this old man, 74-year-old Robert Godwin Sr. Just looked like the nicest guy in the world. Just walking with his grocery bag, whatever. And this guy's like, oh, you know what? I want you to say the name Joy Lane. And, Mr. Godwin's like, I don't know what you're talking about. But he's like, Joy Lane, I don't know who she is. And Steve Stevens says, well, this is the reason. She's the reason why this is going to happen to you. And, old dude's like, what are you talking? Like, I'm just walking home. I just had Easter dinner. I'm cool.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? This dude pulls out what looks like a Glock and points it at Mr. Godwin's head. And, without hesitating or explaining really why, I mean, besides Joy Lane, like just caps him right in the head. Shoots him live, walks away, turns back around. Mr. Godwin's on the ground. I didn't know if it was blood or juice because it was weird.
It was so weird.
At first I saw it looked fake because he was all of a sudden on the ground. But then when I looked later on, his family was crying. Expressing that how much they loved him and all this. And then they were getting interviewed later. Here's what's surprising to me about something like that. His family forgave him. Already, it's Tuesday. This happened Sunday. They're like, just turn yourself in because this asshole Steve Stevens is on the run. But they are saying they forgive him. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know Robert Godwin Sr. I don't forgive this asshole.
Mm-mm.
I don't. I don't know if they're doing it because Jesus told them to and they read the Bible. But guess what? I don't read the Bible like that. And no.
You shoot my daddy?
No, you shoot.
It's on.
No, for no reason.
You better run.
Because you're hurt because somebody dumped you or whatever excuse. Because apparently he was also blaming his mother.
And this man is a manager at a mental institution.
Yeah, for like children or something.
This is so messed up.
He doesn't have a police record. Like the ex-girlfriend spoke and said he was like the nicest guy. So his frat brothers don't even know what the hell is wrong with him. So here's what kills me is like these people, because there are other ones. You remember we were just talking about the husband who in San Bernardino who rolled up in class to shoot his wife in an elementary school, shooting a student, an 8-year-old student, and killing him too.
And it's like this trend. I don't know if it's a trend or if it's just we're just getting more information about it because of our day and age. But what the hell is going on with men who feel some type of rejection or some type of stress to their ex-wife or ex-girlfriend that'll kill the ex-wife or ex-girlfriend and the kids?
And the kids. It's like, what is it? You know what? I don't know what your hurt is because you're not going to even be around for the hurt because you go ahead and do these murder-suicides.
Right.
So just kill yourself.
Yeah.
If you don't have the fucking guts to face up to whatever hurt that you're feeling, then just kill yourself instead. But do not kill somebody else who's innocent of that because of your weak-ass behavior. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's my advice. Go ahead and kill. If you are planning on killing someone else because you are hurt, then kill yourself. The Stevie guy, you shouldn't have shot Mr. Godwin. I hope they catch you. I hope they catch you alive. And I hope the police, they play a little baseball with you, but I want them to catch you alive. And then I want them to throw you in a cell. I want you to be found guilty. And I want, everybody at the penitentiary to do whatever they want. Shanks for everybody.
You must feel the pain that you've inflicted on others.
Sorry. That's how it is.
I know.
Please listen carefully. Please listen carefully.
Once again, make sure you listen to the Zod and Drea podcast by subscribing to one of the following podcast methods: iTunes, Google Play, or YouTube. Visit our website at www.zodanddrea.com to go directly to the links, or if you choose, you can listen to each podcast episode directly on the website under their individual posts.
Want to get involved and have your voice heard on the next podcast? Then be sure to tune in to the question of the week on our website, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram page. And dial in and leave a message on our voicemail at 323-963-4221.
If you're an advertiser who would like to have your 30-second or 1-minute placement on our podcast or YouTube episode, please contact us at info@zodanddrea.com and we'll send you a price list. Space is limited for each episode.
The next podcast might even have you as a featured guest.
Tune in, check us out, and get involved.
Okay, now we're up to the next topic, kind of shaking off that craziness from the other.
Yeah, this is the main one right here.
So, again, just to refresh, how can friendship dynamics change due to new relationships?
I'm sure everybody has gotten into a new relationship with somebody, and they have been with their best friend, hanging out, doing beers, you've been to college together, You get in a relationship, then all of a sudden, like, the phone call, the phones stop coming in. They don't come in as frequently.
The text messages.
They don't come in as frequently.
The check-ins or, hey girl, how you doing?
Yeah, they're a little less frequent. How do you deal with that? Some people, I mean, we've all been through it. I've had a couple like that now. Oh man, I mean, God, when Drea got with me, Like, I've had a few people fall off, just straight up fall off. Like, talk about friendship dynamics. They just left. They were like, oh, what I thought was a friendship, at least at its base, they just bounced. They were like, nah, they couldn't even handle whatever. And, I can see that's due to them having feelings of some sort. And,
Right.
But even still, there was still a base friendship.
That maybe you may have valued more than that person did.
Oh, I did. The thing is, but I mean, I know I'm not alone in that assessment.
Right.
And I know that other people have also experienced that where, balance. But then there's other people who, like shout out to Julia, my friend Julia. Like, she got into a new boyfriend and everything. Finally found love, what looks really good. It looks
Yeah,
really,
they look happy together. Shout
looks
out to you
really,
guys.
looks really good on her. And I don't hear from her like I used to. That's fine, though. With me, that's okay. I know especially when it's new.
Right.
You're still trying to find your place. It's like, cool, my girl is out there doing her thing with her new man. That's straight. She will come back around.
Right, because you know that you allow them to invest that time. And that's the thing. You trust in the you trust in the friendship basis that you guys have built, that you're allowing that, yeah, you need time to build that foundation with the person that you found that's pretty cool in your life.
Yeah,
Yeah, you found love. Yeah, we know how it all gets. You want to get that time when you're cozying up, you're nesting almost, because this is new, this is fresh, and you're establishing what that is. And what I found with some of my friends, like I've had different cycles and seasons, if you will, of my life, and different stages of relationships with men and women that I've had in my entire life. When I've had relationships, when I brought in, a boyfriend or something, and seeing how that dynamic works. And what I found has been most stable is that the friends that know me and know that my friendship is invested in them and invested in their best interest too, that give me the space. I'm gonna come around. Yeah, I know that when we're with my girls and with my guy friends, that when we're all together, it's fun, it's dynamic, and especially when I was single, man, we would hang out all the time. But it wasn't the end point of going out all the time, too, was to attract the other, to attract others,
like
to get into a relationship. Because if we weren't hanging out, we were talking about relationships. We would talk about, oh, man, if I was dating a guy, this is what I would want him to be like, or, and then finally, when you get to that point, you want to support that person. Like, yeah, you're with your boo. Enjoy your time together.
Thing is, there's nothing wrong with that. And some people, I think, wind up, especially those who don't have somebody. Like, if they don't have, that means that they made you their everything.
Right.
And that could be also a problem because they have put too much focus on you instead of looking out to seek somebody that they're going to be with for a life partner. Now, using Julia or anybody else that I have as an example, it's like, I know that I can reach out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know that I can be like, I'm going to reach out and I'm going to be like, I haven't seen you in a minute. Let's hang out. I know I can. And I know that they'll be like, okay, cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
Anybody who's a true friend would do that and make time for, despite, what they're getting into in the new relationship. So it doesn't mean you can't. It's just the dynamic changes, and that's okay.
Right. So I think I found with some people that change is hard for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, the person that they maybe deep down inside never wanted to get into a relationship. They wanted to keep that friend as like, hey, no, you're not supposed to find love.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You're not supposed to
Hater.
want to have anything outside of what we created as a friendship. You're supposed to be my friend. You're supposed to be there anytime I need you, and that's it. And you're supposed to, bend to my needs, and that's it. How dare you want to find anything else? How dare you want to find love?
You know what? That does make sense because there are people who do that. And, they kind of seem like haters. On the surface, you don't know that because they're one of your best friends, but it's not until you get into something. Like my man, Bill. Bill's my best friend since we were 8 years old. If I don't hear from Bill in a while, like it's a weird gap. It's a weird gap. I know he's getting into a relationship. I give him that space. It's like,
Right.
It's all good. I know I'm going to hear from him. If I sit there and I text him, I'm going to hear from him. He knows that when he texts me, he's going to hear from me. Sometimes we just wind up getting busy in certain times. When I'm over there in Jersey, then I'll go and visit him. But it doesn't lose what is a true friendship. It's just, hey, I'm in a relationship with somebody else who is also my best friend.
Right. And what I've had to learn is that you bring everybody into the same environment. Bring your friends into the relationship that you have then with,
Especially if you're
new
proud of them.
Yeah, you want to, and And that's when you can really tell who's in it and who is not really supportive of you, you know? You immediately expose. That's what I had to learn early on, is you immediately expose the person you're dating to your group of whoever it is, your friends. Maybe if your group of friends is your family, maybe just your close family, then bring them around them. Because if that's who you love and that's who's important to you, then everybody should be exposed to each other.
And I think so. I think everybody should want to be exposed. You got to cross. I mean, God, since we've gotten together, how many people now? I mean, how many degrees of separation do we have with like half of Phoenix now?
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. You know, like all my friends, I know like all your friends, and there are people even in the middle that we've met together that are now our people, and like they know Zod and Drea. I mean, as our government names, whatever, but like they know who we are.
Right. And it's funny, like from the people in between too, just from like, hey, you were third degree of separation.
Yeah. Or, you know, hey, you know, we'll just be running out. Oh, we listen to your podcast, or we know you from the podcast. We know you guys from Facebook. Blah, 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 blah. You know, and it's a good feeling to have that for people who, you know, embrace you with that much love, regardless of what you are in a relationship status. Like, I love that. And I think that people who become detrimental, you know, that dynamic changes. It's like, okay, you know, I'm in this type of relationship now. I can't fuck with you anymore. Like, why?
Yeah, why? What did you make this
why?
mean? You know, what did you turn this into? You know, if I don't know. It's just confusing to me sometimes. And it's kind of heartbreaking. I know I've lost some friends down the road that I was like, hey, why did that have to end? You know, but in the long run, realized that that person wasn't going to be supportive of me. Even if the relationship maybe didn't work, you know, that's okay. You know, that's the whole thing about friends, you know? You're supposed to stick around. You're supposed to stick around for
Real
the
friends.
good and the bad. Right. Good and the bad. You know, I've had a shout out to my friend Lucy and Nia Mitchell. We've been friends for 21 years.
You said it's been a minute.
Yeah. This girl's been part of my half of my life. And through all the ups and downs, the moves, the relationships, the marriages, engagements, that's right. She has been there. And has been nothing but a supporter to me, and a person that has always even told me, like, look, why are you in this right now? You should really evaluate and see why you involved in something like that. And I respect that.
And you should. You know, the thing is, there's a respect there because that person is also going through their own issues, but they will call upon you. It's like, look, sometimes I need a friend in order to talk with, you know, this and that, and you're my go-to. Regardless of whatever I'm doing in my relationship, I just need another ear on something. I just need another opinion on something.
Right.
And that person should be there for you. But there are people who, I mean, going back to the top, the dynamic changes. It's like, okay, oh, you know what? You don't care about me that much anymore, huh? So why should I have to hang around you? Like, all of a sudden, it becomes a competition almost.
Right. Do you think that in some cases people put on almost like a tier? Almost.
There is a tier. Like, there's almost a hierarchy, and they do not want people to be that top piece of the totem pole. And then when someone else does, it's like, wait a minute. The fuck? You only knew them for a year. You know, you've known me for 20. Like, how in the hell it's like, look, you know, there's a different capacity also. When it comes to best friends, you are my best friend. Like, there are certain things that I know that no matter what I do, what I think, what I believe in, you're going to be there for me. But now there's also someone who does the same thing, and I'm with them every day. So they know me in ways that even the besties don't know because it's, you know, yeah, sure, the bestie might know and you were puking in the toilet after that wild party and, you know, mixing drinks or whatever, and because they were there. But, you know, the other person, you know, your actual relationship, your love is going to wind up knowing you in a way more intimate way.
Right,
you know,
right.
there's another level to the game now. Okay, yeah, sure. Maybe they even remember, oh, well, you weren't there for the puke thing, sure. But you weren't there for the wedding, or you weren't there for when we stubbed our toe and, you know, during running, we did a kiss on this mile, whatever it is, you know, whatever it is. I'm just making things up. But, you know, they weren't there for that. They weren't there for the photography shots that were, you know, etched in time. And it's okay, though.
And that's the thing. What it's
not a
almost
competition.
like there's this something instilled early on with people, depending on the relationship. Like it's almost like a resource, like you're taking my resource away. You're taking that thing away from me that makes me feel good about myself. And now if you take that away, I won't have anything left. And that's scarcity kind of reaction, right? Like, you can't take this person away from me because this is what they mean to me and this is how they have to be all the time. But as a human being, we're supposed to have multiple interactions with people and to be able to freely have people come in and out of our lives without this type of branding on them. Like, no, you can only stay here for this, or you can only stay here for that. You know, who wants to be labeled as that?
Nobody wants to be labeled as that. I mean, my whole thing is who I am as a person. Like, who I am, I'm true to. And I'm true to the fact that people will change over time. Like, think about it this way. Are you the same person you are now that you were, or are you the same person now that you were 20 years ago?
No.
You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't even be 5 years ago. Hopefully you have changed and you've evolved. Mm-hmm. Everybody has. So your dynamic is going to change no matter what. Like, no matter what, that person is your best friend because you've grown together and, you know, there's still similar things that you have. But when you're in a relationship, it's the same thing. You're just tighter, and you have more of an obligation to stay tighter and to work out differences, find out what that person is, how that person ticks. When you're a best friend, you don't have to really find out how that person ticks. They just are what they are. You accept them, which is really cool. But it can lead into, you know, separating a little bit when somebody else gets you a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. And that's okay. You know, it's. So what if this person over here, this friend over here, gets me on a level that another friend doesn't get me? That's the whole reason of having experiences with people and life experiences, is like you get to expose yourself and learn about yourself through other people as well. Mm-hmm. You know, and isn't that how a person grows? Isn't that how a person evolves and takes those different life lessons so that I can't talk. Lessons. I just made up a word. Those life lessons to the next level, into whatever's going to be then the next phase of your life. And if that person's cool with it and can hang and be down for the next phase, great. If not,
why not?
Then if they're not, then thank you for the time spent, and now have a good life.
You know, and that's it. Sometimes you got to cut people off too. Like, that's one thing that I've learned, because I don't like cutting people off. I'm the type of guy, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to cut you off, because maybe what you are now isn't what you're going to be in the future. So you're going through something and you have to realize it. Because there have been people who always come back to me. They always come back and it's like, you know, I was bugging. Mm-hmm. And that's good too. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, as long as we know who we are and whatever, hopefully you solved whatever issue you had to solve. But some people, you know, I guess you just have to cut them off, or if they cut themselves off, you have to just allow them to go.
And see, I'm just the opposite, where I'm like, I will cut a person off in a heartbeat. So now I'm learning to like not be so quick to do that.
Because they come back. It's just like clients. You know, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know, you'll get into a fight with a client or whatever, but, you know, they usually, I mean, I've had banks come back to me. I'm like, okay, look, they'll be looking back, and the bank will come right back. You know, it's like, oh, we like your designs. It's like, yeah, I know you did. You know, I don't even know what you left for in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Why you get mad?
Like, why'd you get mad? You know, I guess these, you know, when it comes to relationships, it can go into business relationships as well. You know, right. It can evolve into not just those personal relationships, but they can go into business relationships. Either way, you know, you got to live and let live. But some people are just bugging, I'm telling you.
Right. So, I mean, I guess we can take away is that just experience what you can, and whoever can handle it, bring them along.
I should hope people should bring them along. My thing is, I should hope they should bring them along. I love to learn about your friends and, you know, the new people in your lives, your family. And, you know, I'm hoping it's reciprocal, that they like the same thing, or that you also like, you know, all the friends in my life. You know, there's a lot more in different countries. You know, I want you to meet, and, you know, there's, it's
right.
just.
And that's the thing. When I get to learn about the people that have impacted your life, I get to learn about you more.
Yep, because they will talk. They will talk. They have no problem with that.
And that's what I hope you learn from me, too.
Exactly. All right, people. So we hope you enjoyed that podcast. You know, we want to, I guess, just want to hear from you a little bit. You know, just let us know what you think about relationships and the dynamics have changed. Maybe you've thought about that.
Right.
You know?
Your thoughts, your experiences on it. You know, maybe you haven't had any friends that haven't fallen through, or maybe you've got an experience that still pulls at your heart that is really fresh, and just express that to us. And let us know what you think about this topic. And again, like we always ask, if there's a topic that you want us to discuss, bring it up.
Yeah, bring it up. Just go to the website, www.zadandrea.com, And inside of the contact area, you can hit it up where you can tell us what type of topic you'd like to discuss and if you want to be a guest.
We're calling out guests soon, so...
Yeah. So we've had some good ones.
Yeah.
We've had some interviews. Hey, maybe even a future governor of Arizona. So make sure you check that interview out.
Yeah, so give us a shout out because the calendar's getting booked.
Yep. So until then, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.